I'm Deborah McElliott. I'm a nurse practitioner at Katz Institute for Women's Health, specifically at this Center for Wellness and Integrative Medicine. The American Heart's Life Essential 8 are really key measures for cardiovascular health. They identify 4 behaviors and 4 measures that we used to just focus on for adults, and they've added wordage now to make it really applicable to children. They're talking about super fuel for the food, or in motion for the movement, or sleep tight for sleeping, and clear the air for not being around smoking. We encourage parents and the children to know their numbers. So we want to know what's your weight. We look for the BMI to be between 18.5 and 25 as a general measure of health. We also look at blood pressure. We look at blood sugar level, and we look at cholesterol. They've combined both behaviors and numbers that we should know that are a real great starting point when we look at whole person health and wellness. Sleep is very important for everybody. The best way to get adequate sleep is to have a sleep hygiene, to have a routine. We encourage moms, parents to partner with the children to develop this routine, losing the electronic devices. You don't need a TV to go to sleep at night. Your phone shouldn't be on all night long checking text messages. When we talk to teenagers and even young college students, most of them are lacking sleep due to their electronic devices. Ideally, your room should be inviting to go to sleep. It should be cool. There should be no lights. When our children are little, we're usually tucking them in at night. They have their warm bath. Maybe they get a little bit of a massage with some lotion. We tell them a story and they go to sleep. So what kind of routines can we have as the children age? Maybe it's not a story, but maybe it's, tell me about the best parts of your day, or what made you so happy today. Shifting that focus to joy and gratitude puts not just children but adults in a good place to go to sleep. So when we talk about nutritious foods and we talk about making changes, what are we bringing into our home that the children will snack on whether we're there or not, that we snack on? So the American Heart does a nice job of not saying don't ever eat this, but they look at foods that we should enjoy. So the fruits, the vegetables, lean cuts of meat, fish. They look at foods that we should limit. And those are all the sugary sweetened, the processed foods that really don't give us good calories. They may give us an initial boost of energy, but then the blood sugar plummets and we don't feel that great. And then they look at foods to avoid, foods with the trans fat and the partially hydrogenated oils. So those are foods that aren't going to help us heal. Making food changes in the home can be challenging. Food is social, food is cultural, but often between school, parents working, after school activities, meals are on the run. So it takes planning. Start by introducing the foods that they tell us to enjoy. So how can we have more fruits easily accessible? And how can we have healthy food in the house? That goes a long way. Food is also individual. Certain foods may not resonate with you even though they're on a recommended list. So again, you need to know how you respond to the foods you eat. Talk to your provider, see one of our registered dietitians, and come up with a food plan that's best for you if you have any specific issues. So I think when you're looking at quick and easy things to do to stay healthy throughout the school year, we take into consideration the seasons. When can we be outdoors and when can we enjoy activity out there? And even when it's inclement weather, you may not be outside on a number of rainy days, but that's when you look for the videos that have some activity, or that's when you play games and have fun. So I think engaging the children and letting them see you do activity and take time for rest and take time for joy and for social engagements, I think that's really important throughout the year. The first tip I would say to eat healthier during the day is to know what you like. Plan, have that food available, maybe prepackage it, take it with you to work, have it readily available at home. And again, setting limits. Just because we made this great batch of fairly healthy cookies doesn't mean that we need to eat 20 of them at once. Modeling this behavior for the children is really important. We can't have our cabinet of foods that we eat and the kids aren't allowed to have. So it's sort of, again, children learn what they live. So how can we as parents, model the behavior that we want our children to have? So physical education is really important. We know that the recommendation for adults is 150 minutes of moderate activity a week, 75 minutes of vigorous activity. But we also know that as women age, they lose a percent of muscle every 10 years. And as our muscle mass decreases, so does our metabolism. So we need to step it up. We need to do strength training. We need to do a combination of, aerobic and flexibility activities. There's a lot of research showing the benefits of interval training, where it doesn't have to be an hour of running, but 15 or 20 minutes of walking at a moderate pace, then increasing it, going back to the moderate pace can be really helpful. Now for children, the activity is recommended at least 60 minutes a day. And that can be a combination of play and structured activity. We know the benefits of children being active and adults for our whole body, for our heart, for our bones, for our brains. As we have physical activity, we release endorphins and it helps to decrease stress. We know with muscles, it's you use it or you lose it. So it's very important for everybody. So what's our SMART goals? How do we make physical activity an everyday to-do? Tobacco, smoking, vaping, and e-cigarettes are very problematic and increase the risk for not only heart disease but also cancer. As somebody inhales, they're inhaling not just the tobacco, but 600 other chemicals. And then once that cigarette is lit, it turns into 7,000. It affects not just the lungs, which gets the initial effect when you breathe in, but it also affects our blood vessels and our heart, and really causes inflammation in our body as we're exposed to so many different chemicals. And even though children may not be smoking, if they're in the room with someone who's smoking, they have the same challenges. They're breathing in that air. They're breathing in those chemicals. And then even worse than that is the third-hand smoke. So someone may be a smoker, but they're not smoking in front of you, but the child's in the house crawling on the rug or sitting on a couch, or you're holding them, and that third-hand smoke is in the furniture and on your clothes. So it's that chemical exposure that's so challenging. It's not that people who smoke are bad, it's that it's a bad habit, and how do we help people break the habit? With kids, we often start with the disadvantages of smoking in terms of, oh look, when you smoke, your teeth get stained, they turn brown, your skin gets wrinkles, you don't taste your food as well, it doesn't smell as well. So we point to some of those effects as well as the detriments that it has to our health. So I think raising awareness is huge, and having the conversations and being open, especially as they're teens and the peer pressure comes into play if they're with a group that's smoking a lot. So stress isn't mentioned especially in the lifestyle, Life Essential 8s. But stress is a thread that goes throughout the behaviors, and it also goes and affects the factors. It's interesting, the latest statistics report that many people aren't even aware that they're stressed. So stress isn't always bad. Stress can be good. It can motivate you to rev up for a sport, to accomplish a goal. But the persistent stress affects the body, mind, the heart, the whole person. Self-assessment, in my mind, is the first step to managing stress. You need to realize that you're stressed. And then you sort of look and decide, how does it manifest in my body? Are my shoulders up high? Do I have a stomach ache? Do I have a headache? What's going on? And then you think about it. What am I stressed over? And you decide, this is a stupid stress. I shouldn't be worried about this. And you work to change it. Or if it's a real stress, you seek help on how do you manage it and how do you deal with it. At our Center for Wellness and Integrative Medicine, many people come to us to deal with stress. There's many activities that can help to get the stress out of the body. There's evidence showing how yoga, mindfulness, and meditation help to decrease risk factors for heart disease. And then there's therapies like massage, reflexology, Reiki, which is an energy work, acupuncture, that actually help people feel relaxed. And once you know what it feels like to be relaxed, it's so much easier to then recognize when you're starting to get stressed. So our goal is not to eliminate stress, because we know that's not going to happen in this world, but how can we respond instead of react? And developing some conditioned responses, some go-tos, whether it's the breath, whether it's a particular stance, whether it's I'm going to go for a run because I had a really stressful day, or I'm going to work out and do a dance. Coming up with activities that are our go-to when we're stressed, so this stress feeling in the body doesn't perpetuate and cause damage.